Yeah.
You posted the 7th grade, 12th grade. You can see, I mean, you see, she's just physically bigger. I mean, her shoulders, she's bigger, you know.
Kind of a monster. She fell
just
into
I'll say
that
it normally,
throwing
you got this
role
and these.
really well. This track and
All
field.
right. Let's call the meeting to order. And would everybody please stand and join us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. So glad you're here to join us tonight, and warm welcome to everybody. Roll call, please. Note attendance. And next item is approval of the agenda. There is an amended agenda. We will be making one correction under the consent agenda, 5C and D. It should be July 25th regular meeting and August 12th special meeting, special elections. So D should be approved minutes, special meeting, special election, August 12th instead of a work session. And that's it. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ethan, second by Scott. Discussion? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. We will move to Mustang Spirit recognition. So who would like to go first? Mr. Paul?
Our targeted services staff at the elementary. Tim's in the corner. Jeff, want to stand up? Sheila. They have been very dedicated this summer, coming in 3 weeks prior to the school year to help our students get ready for the new year. Jeff is 3rd grade. Sheila's floating between grades. Tim's helped out with their 6th grade. Sarah Rosso was 1st grade. Kelly Gams was 2nd grade. John Samuelson was 4th grade. Reed Gunderson was 5th grade. So very dedicated. They put in a lot of time, and I know it's a challenge to get back in there at the beginning of August. And they've been very helpful and really have the best interest of our students in mind. So just want to give a shout out to all of our targeted services staff at the elementary.
Thank you very much for your willingness and your commitment. It's outstanding. Nice group.
I got a gift certificate donated by the PTO.
Sweet.
Score.
All right. Any others from Randy? Otherwise, Mr. Nelson, Brent?
Yes, I do, definitely. These fine people over here, I want to recognize Charlie and Sherry and Lee, and then some others that weren't able to be here. Sorry, did I skip you?
That's all right.
Jilly wasn't able to be here, and then Kurt, Craig, and Brad. These guys, they do a ton for us at the high school here, and they don't always get the credit that they deserve. It's this time of year where you really notice some of the stuff they do. I mean, those halls right now are so shiny. The carpets are all shampooed. The furniture they've moved around. I know they probably have sore backs and sore legs from all the work they've been doing. Some of the maintenance folks cut a hole in our media center so we can have the Corral coffee shop. So just really appreciate all you guys do, and I'm glad you're at MHS.
I only made it past the high school office when I was here this week. Haven't been upstairs, downstairs at all, but it looks fantastic, and appreciate the work you've done this summer. I like the new lighting. That is enhancing things, and that will also show the dust in the corners. Help you in your jobs. No, it looks really nice. So thank you very much,
How
everybody.
much heavy lifting did you make that your high school or your student custodian team do?
That's good.
Way to delegate.
Very smart move.
They're half my age and
Well, it sounds like a good plan. Thank you for being here and well-deserved Mustang spirit. And you are all welcome to stay for the meeting. It looks rather short by our standards tonight, but you are free to leave too. Throwing it out. Thanks, Sheila. Have a good night, you guys. So continue if there's any other Mustang spirit. Are we going to do some introductions? Shall we do that now? We don't really have it slotted anywhere in the agenda, so why don't we go ahead? That's Mustang spirit.
Could I have the high school, the four new high school teachers, would you mind standing up? I'm gonna introduce them, and if you wouldn't mind just saying a little bit of maybe what you do and something interesting. I'll get excited about.
So,
this is Ms.
just to
Purcell.
clarify, these are new staff members for the coming year, so
All
welcome
teaching
to all of
at
you,
the
all
high school.
teaching staff.
So this is Ms. Purcell.
I'm Debbie Purcell, and I just graduated from St. Cloud State. With my academic and behavioral specialist license, and I'm going to be teaching junior high special ed. Very excited.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Next door we have Ms. Zellman.
My name is Becca Zellman. I graduated from Mora in 2013, and I'm excited to be back as a teacher. I'll be teaching 7th and 9th grade English this year.
Very
And
exciting.
this is Grayson, but she won't be here every day.
Becca was was our student, our first year here.
We love to have more graduates come back, and nice to see familiar faces.
Then we have Mr. Simpson.
Hi, I'm James Simpson. I'll be teaching the industrial tech and automotives classes down there part-time. Super excited to be doing it. I graduated here too, but I'm not telling you what year. But I'm super, super excited about being here.
Great.
And then in the back row we have Ms. Nelson.
I'm Paige Nelson, also a Mora graduate from 2012. I'll be teaching high school health this year at One Cross PD.
And welcome back to Mora. All right, nice to have all of you here.
We have one elementary addition here. She will be our DCD special education. This is Tammy Scheller.
And I just graduated as well with the,
Mm.
in the same program.
Wow.
from St. Cloud State.
Wow, nice connection.
We also just today added a first grade teacher. We lucked out. We got someone with, this will be her second year teaching. Last year she taught in the city. She lives in North Branch. We all really liked her. We were like, oh, thank goodness. So she came back this afternoon. We've been through everything. She's very overwhelmed, but we're getting her up and running. So we also have a first grade teacher.
Very good.
And her name is Corey, and I introduced her to Karen.
I met her,
She's
and
here this afternoon.
I second what you said. I think
Yeah.
she'll be a nice
Very
addition.
confident.
Mhm.
Yeah, really good.
And Nicole Schwarzbauer will be there, but she's not really new, she's kind of new, but she's a familiar face, and she'll be in her childhood.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have people that some of them know the ins and outs a little bit, which is good, and new blood is always excellent. So, nice mix. Welcome, everybody. And again, you're more than welcome to stay, but also if you'd like to leave, now is just a perfect time. And have a good night. We'll see you soon. All right, moving on. Is there any other Mustang spirit recognition before we do? Are we ready to go on to the next item? Okay, which is open forum. Is there anybody here who would like to address the board? All right, seeing none. Consent agenda. Any requests to remove any items? You have one that we will be pulling, and that is 5F, the employment request of Tara Malmgren. If you would pull that, it's not a huge issue, but I think there's just a couple clarifications that need to be made in negotiating a contract there. So pull that, and there any other requests to remove any items? If not, a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Second.
Motion by Bob Jensen, second by Tammy. Further discussion? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, and we will be bringing the other personnel item back at a future date, so. Board reports and administrative updates. Any board member meeting? Yes, we are there. We'll give everybody an extra minute or two with their report if they need. Probably isn't gonna happen in August either, but.
I had
Bob.
several Rum River meetings, but Mr. Schultz, under item 4 in his written report, took care of my reports, so.
With one update I understand from yesterday.
Yeah, you wrote in there that
somebody
we.
share?
We had a meeting, but we have a tentative agreement with the ABMs as well.
Yep.
And I did have to leave before that was over with. I wrote that report on Monday, so.
Okay.
And wasn't able to report that. So we have 2 groups done there.
Okay.
It's been a long process. For me.
Any
Lot of trips
other,
to King.
any other board meetings? I know we were all in attendance last night at the MEF fundraiser, but I think it's just appropriate to acknowledge MEF, the committee that planned the fundraiser, and the community that supported it. It was a fantastic evening and a lot of work behind the scenes to put it on, but I would say it was another successful fundraiser, so thank you, everybody.
Fundraiser for a great cause. I mean, the monies that they put back into the school and the programs are truly, they're really something.
And do remember, it's not just schools.
Yes,
It is the
exactly.
community.
Learners in the
Yes,
community,
the community,
yes.
adults, children.
Absolutely.
Yep. And if I remember right, it's 4 things that are innovative and have some various criteria to meet.
The whole basis of that group is that it's innovative learning to support those ideas that maybe we can't support from a budgetary standpoint here or in the community that will enhance learning.
And I think if I remember correctly from the booklet, it said there have been $383,000 in grants awarded. And that group has been in place for around 15 years?
I think it's
Did see-
17.
17 years?
Last night was the
So,
16th
16th
MEF dinner.
Yeah, I heard
fundraiser, and
16.
$383,000 worth of grants already awarded, so.
Amazing.
That's fantastic.
And please get the word out there. You know, anybody that needs a little inspiration from teaching standpoint or otherwise, the grants are available. So it's a great group to work with. And proud to be a part of it.
All right, activities, community education update. Chris?
All right, got my notes in the board report, but all athletics are up and running. I believe Mr. Schultz sent out a sheet ahead of time regarding girls hockey. And I had talked to you guys earlier about this in the year, that this may be coming down the road. Pine City did, their board did pass, and they are going to dissolve their co-op with Isanti coming up in September. They have enough girls to sustain their program. Rush City and their AD and myself went and talked with Bill, and this has been in the making for a while. I asked Charlie to come here tonight in case if you have any questions for us that I can't answer. He's been working with Mora, trying to keep them informed as to what's been going on as well. So tonight I'd like to propose that Mora dissolves the co-op with Bainbridge and join Pine City and Rush City. Hinkley Finlayson down the road may want to join. They've got a couple older girls that want to continue to skate with Moose Lake. But eventually they're thinking they're going to come over as well. Does Pine City need us in order to have this program? No, they don't need us, but they believe that it will make their program stronger if they can do a co-op. It'll keep us, if we figured out the numbers, it would keep us in Class A, so we wouldn't get bumped up. I listed some of the pros in here. One of the big ones is morning practices. The girls need to go and skate before in Cambridge, before school, and then get back talked about a name, and right now, their board passed that it would be the Pine City Dragons. If we did a co-op with them, they're proposing that it is Pine City area girls hockey, and they would still be the Dragons. We would try to get some practices and games here, because they're gonna be pretty full with their ice, their programs over there, so, you know, we can't practice till late one night over there, but we can get in over here, then they would come and skate over here. We can't guarantee the 50-50 percentage, because that's just not feasible right now. And so we're just happy that that we've been asked to be there. Anything to add, Charlie?
Unless they have questions.
I know that some parents would like to see it 50-50, but right now, with going into this,
When you say 50-50, you're talking about ice time for
ice
practices,
time,
and
ice time and practices. They
and
would-
we're nowhere close to that currently with, Cambridge doesn't come here at all, do they?
They will not go to Pine City, they will not travel
Right.
here. We used to get one game, and they won't even do that.
So whatever we get is an improvement over where we're at
It is
right
an
now.
improvement. And I know that our parents would like to see more games here. You know, when moving forward, they're talking about having 25 girls on the team just from Pine City. So they really, I mean, they don't need us, but they want us to be stronger. And so for 25 of them to travel over here, you know, 3 nights a week or 2 nights a week, that's putting 4 or 5 vehicles on the road for them, whereas we have 4 girls, we can put them all in one and we can go. We would not provide transportation, just like any of the other co-ops. They would have to get themselves there. Pine City would be in charge of ordering all the equipment. Right now, they have a $20,000 budget towards girls hockey. And so we're not looking at an increase as of right now unless we get bombarded with girls. I mean, we're thinking if we have 10 girls, we will still be good with that $20,000 budget. Right now, we only had 3 girls going over in Cambridge this year. And we're losing numbers because of early practice times and so forth. And from what I understand, I heard from the beginning that more girls don't feel welcome over in Cambridge. Pine City said the same thing, that their girls just didn't feel welcomed over there.
I will add that, we met quite a bit this last year, because we had a 12-youth team at the youth level. We didn't meet with the athletic director, but they have a girls hockey booster club over there. And, they have an enormous amount, group of girls, like 12 in one class and like another 7 in another class. And after those 2 classes are gone, our numbers are about the same right now for our youth numbers, you know what I mean? We each have about 5, 6 in a graduating class of play. So hopefully that will kind of change. I do know they have a group of parents from Pine City going to their board meeting, maybe not trying to say we want 50-50, but they were trying to find an individual name instead of under their name and whatever else. So kind of like our kids felt in Cambridge over this time. Pine City used to be with Chisago, and they just played under Chisago, everything in Chisago, kind of like we have right now. And that didn't work long term. And so they said, they're going to their board saying, we'd like it to be different than we experienced. You know, we'd like to be a more gracious maybe host to that. Now, I don't know what kind of return they're gonna get from the board or whatever else, but I do know ice time is at a minimum. I mean, they have a lot of teams, you know, they want ranked. But I think we will see more over here, just due to not having enough ice with a boys and a girls high school team with all of their youth teams trying to get out.
It's a process, and it's not uncommon for communities where this has happened for them to ultimately embrace more of a new name that prevents that feeling of exclusion or not being able to identify with your team. But baby steps, so at least it's a start. So it's good coming from that group of parents. That would be appreciated if they are making that kind of a appeal or request. So yeah, thanks for all of your work and.
So I don't know if you have to sit on it for a month.
Yeah, I was going to ask the same question, or see, are we looking for approval
Guess I don't
tonight?
know the deadline or when we would need to make the decision by.
Pine City's gonna let the state high school league know in September, along with Cambridge. I think the deadline for us is October, beginning
I
of October.
personally would rather see it on the September agenda instead of
Yeah, I think that's
pushing
wise.
it through tonight. Gives everybody a chance to,
Our girls will continue to skate
Process.
with Cambridge Isani this year, this school year, and then the following school year
Mhm.
would take effect.
okay, so the timeline is such that we can wait till the September board meeting and we'll have it as an item on the September agenda.
I appreciate the work on this. I think this is a really great opportunity for our hockey girls and families in Mora. I know that youth program is pretty big with what we have through Mora right now. So giving them the opportunity for feeling welcome and not those early ice times is really a big deal. So thank you for working on that. I'm
And
ex-
Charlie's been a big part of this too, so.
Yes.
Thank you for his work in this as well.
Thanks, Charlie.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to cite from your
That's what I got.
report? All right, thanks, Chris. Buildings, grounds, and transportation, Mr. Matt.
Transportation, I applied for round 2 of that Volkswagen Editions bus grant again. We got denied last time, so this time they're trying to push it more out safe and see what happens. That deadline was August 13th, so that's all to them. We'll see what happens. Just so you know, the town, all the bus routes are the same this year, and all of our town stops remain the same. So if there's any question, nothing's changed, especially with, now we don't have to have Fairview. We changed it, we abandoned Fairview, so. Buildings and grounds, boy, where do I start? The gym is complete. We got new lights in the gym, we painted the gym, we finished the floor, new wall pads, new baseboards, vent boards. It really looks bright and shiny in there, so hopefully that stays well with all the five kids there.
It's different.
They're gonna hang, there'll be a big crane here tomorrow for the 2 condensing units that are going for the auditorium. All the roof work is done. They're gonna set those tomorrow. I don't know that they'll be up and operational by tomorrow, but that'll be, by next board meeting, we should have that all taken care of. Coffee shop was a big project for the maintenance crew this year, or this summer. They did a fantastic job. When you get a chance to go up to the media center, you'll see that it's all kind of handmade cabinets, their countertops, and the hole in the wall for the window and everything. Plumbing, and the sink we put in, we got to reuse the sink from the wellness center. So.
Perfect.
And the tennis court project is underway. We've been back behind the elementary school. I got a phone call from Damien Monday night. They got all the pipe in for the drainage. It's going to be inspected yesterday, and then they were hoping to get some pavement going today and tomorrow. I haven't been back there today, so I don't know. But they still know the deadline is September 3rd, so I think they're going to be runs in place the next week, getting that all paved up and ready to go for fencing crew. So.
The weather has been cooperating.
Yep. We had a couple rainy mornings, but they were there in the afternoon to finish up. They did cut our electric line out to one of our sheds, but they repaired it and replaced it for us. We had it marked, so it's all good. Other than that, we're just getting ready for tidying up the buildings and getting furniture moved around, and we'll see when the teachers get here next week if they need to swap out tables for this and whatever. So it's always a busy week, but it makes the time go by, and we're ready to go.
Great, thank you.
If you have any questions, let me know.
It looks good. Okay, principals updates, high school.
It's been a fun week to get mail. I got some snail mail I thought I'd pass around here. Really neat. Spotlight Education Hennepin Theater Trust recognized our spring musical, Cinderella. Britta Williams, Mark Waxlax, also just the whole crew. Thought I'd pass that around as a positive. Also, I got a nice email that one of our students, very prestigious position, Minnesota Youth Council, Rhea Edberg. This is her 3rd year. I think some of you got that email as well.
Sure did.
And
she got on as an 8th grader.
She's just a sophomore.
Yeah, so
Unbelievable.
kind of neat to have Mora represented down at that level. To echo Mr. Brandt, you know, the corral, those teachers are really excited. They're going to be making smoothies. It's going to be healthy. Our students with special needs are going to have an opportunity to run more like a real store, you know, a coffee shop. And a lot of our students are driving over to gas stations to buy coffee. So I think this will actually be a safer thing to keep students here on campus. New devices, grades 9 through 12. Last year we had the student council were guinea pigs, and they had the flip Chromebook that if you open it all the way, it's a tablet. And these are brand spanking new Chromebooks, it's called 2-in-1 Chromebooks. And we're going to deliver those to students who come to open house next Wednesday. So we're really excited about just putting the best stuff on the market in our kids' hands. Substitute workshop, I just want to recognize Mr. Baki and Mr. Qual. They did a lot with ALICE training. Well, in the last year they have, but they really did a nice job with our sub-major and sub-teachers today. Foreign exchange students, we are lucky. We have 6 that I know of, unless we had added another one. Mr. and Mrs. Dillon, you actually are hosting one of them, and I got to tell you something funny. I was talking to one of the football players, and he was asking about foreign exchange students, and I said, yeah, we have 6. He goes, how many are guys and how many are girls? And I said, well, there's 1 boy and 5 girls. He goes, yes. So look up. They're coming to us 4 from Germany, 1 from Taiwan, and 1 from Spain.
Fun.
So we're really excited about that.
How many different programs are represented? 2?
No, we got 5, and then 1, I'm not even sure where the other one is, what PAX, I think, yeah. And she's with the Reeves, isn't she, or?
Correct.
Yes. That's it.
You said a football player asked. I thought the question was going to be, can any of them?
I assumed the exact same thing.
Really?
No, we have one of those.
Nobody plays hockey.
No.
Sore spots right over there.
And then the last thing I was just going to show off was hoping we could steal that spot over there in your boardroom
Yeah.
for this. Pretty proud of that. You have to drive 45 miles to find a high school that beat us in this ring. So.
Nice. Be proud. Anything else? We will move on to elementary then. Principal's update.
I already told you about the 6th section of 1st grade. That brings us down to 21.2 per class in that grade instead of 25 to 26. So we're just very happy. Thank you very much for letting us add that teacher. It's going to be great.
It's a great problem for our district to have.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gone through a number of professional development that were very great. We went with leadership team to PLC 2.0, a 2-day workshop in Monticello. A lot of great things that we can bring back to our buildings and PLCs. And then Brenda and I went to Leadership Evolution, which is 1 day of 4 days throughout the school year. We learned our strengths and how we can work together and build upon our weaknesses. But we listed our strengths there: deliberative, relator, analytical, responsibility, and arranger were my 5. And Brenda's was strategic, relator, achiever, learner, and responsibility. So we had a couple that were similar and a couple that we can share together. So, but we meet again in October for that one, and then at the end of the year too. It's an ongoing one, and we even get some doctoral.
There's some book studies, and we get 3 doctoral credits to Dr. University, so kind of excited about that. But it's really interesting, very interesting stuff.
Are you going to share the weaknesses or not?
Oh.
They're all strengths.
Opportunities.
They're just talents It was interesting because they only tell you the top 5 and then you have to buy the others if you want them. So Randy and I were like, finally I bought them. I couldn't stand them. I had to know the rest. And so the next year Randy's like, oh, I bought them. Then we look, of course, we look right to the 34th line. We're like, what? So then we wish we wouldn't have bought them. We did go ahead and purchase the Strengths Finder book for our staff. So what we plan to do, that we just found it so interesting and so beneficial and insightful for ourselves and then together, that we decided our staff would probably be the same way. We're all learners.
Conversation be through their PLCs and what strengths everyone brings to the table and how we can help each other always.
So we're going to concentrate our staff meetings on the Strengths Finder and doing kind of a book study, and then just talking about the strengths and then how you can use your strengths to strengthen your opportunities for growth. So yeah, so it's pretty exciting stuff. Something that's not on our board report, I kind of forgot to put it on here, but I'm going to, I set up some Love and Logic parenting classes for this fall. So they're the 23rd of September, October 10th, and October 21st. There's a expert out of Resource Training and Solutions, and she'll come to schools and do parenting classes in the evening. And so through Title I, we're going to have families that sign up, come, we'll give them the book and the resources, the families will have a meal together, and then the kids will go off with childcare and do some activities with some parents that will employ to do this. And then the lady will have the, Peg is her name, she'll do the classes with the parents. So I'm very excited. We talked about it for 2 years, and finally I was like, let's just do it. So we are going to be doing that, and like I said, that will be through Title I. So I'm kind of excited for those to come. I think they'll be really beneficial for families.
Yes.
They've always been
They are
good.
Yeah, yes. And we're going to concentrate on K-1-2 families.
Okay.
The younger, so that'll be our focus.
Thank you, Brenda. And for elementary? Okay, let's hear from Jen. Jen, welcome to board meeting. Jen is going to be our student board representative, or one of them this year, so glad you're here. And normally you have a place on the agenda, which you don't have in front of you anyway, but no matter. You will usually be part of the board reports at this time, so we'll just have you. What would you like to report on tonight? What's going on?
Not much, really. Student council met throughout the summer, kind of started to plan the little things, little dances here and there. Started homecoming, trying to plan homecoming day. I know it's a big deal for those incoming 7th graders and 8th graders too, so.
Will it be a similar format to the last couple of years?
Yep, so it'll be the same thing where the entire day is focused on homecoming. We have a backup plan this year because last year the weather was just kind of rainy and cold, so we plan to, if that happens, move everything inside, and we have certain areas marked off, so I think we're pretty set on that.
It's good to have a backup plan in Minnesota.
Right. Open house is on Wednesday. We're ready to go. We've got council members on every floor ready to answer questions and help people out, so.
When is the first dance? Is it soon after school starts?
I think it is the first Friday of the school year after, so first full week. Yeah, after that.
Good. All right, thanks.
Can I add something?
Yes.
This team a lot for our school. First day of school, they welcome students. They're wearing shirts, so they stand out to help. They're welcoming new students at open house. Is it in this room?
Yep, it's here.
Giving them kind of a gift to welcome them to our school. You are speaking. Do you know that yet?
I've been thinking.
Wednesday, you and Abby are going to welcome the 7th grade. The student council does a lot here, and they actually do a lot more than happens at other schools. So I'm just really proud of this team. Thank you, Jim.
Should have brought one of the T-shirts.
That's what Mom said.
All right.
It's going to be be a fun year with Jen sitting at this table.
I can see that. Nice positioning here, too.
You can roll your eyes anytime. We're right behind you.
You don't know how to do that, do you?
No, it'll be good. Superintendent's update.
A project that comes up every 2 years is the insurance bids that we go out for our health insurance. And as I reported last month, it's been a little more work this year than in the past. Our renewal that came up, the two bidders that were the two low bidders were PEEP at 7%, and we ended up with Medica at about 24%. And so reviewing and analyzing, the PEEP program does not match the criteria that we set out, so it wasn't able to just take apples and apples and even try and compare a Granny Smith apple to a Braeburn apple. We weren't even able to do that. It's more like an orange to Granny Smith. And so it took a little bit more analysis. The largest bargaining unit is in agreement with the district, and that is to go with the PEEP plan at the 7% increase. There is a significant difference in the way that'll be handled, so throughout next week we have 2 different days. One day we have a mass explanation to the entire staff, and then I think that's on Monday. And then on Thursday, we have an opportunity for individuals that have questions to go and meet with the reps individually to work out which plan is best for them. We still end up with something similar to what we had before, but the deductibles are a little different. The co-pays operate differently. PEEP is mainly a broker that handles the money and does the negotiating with the insurance company. So they'll have to pick the company, they'll have to pick the clinic, they'll have to pick their doctor, and then based on all of that, then the level of clinic is the reimbursement rate that's paid. So there's level 1, 2, 3, and 4. Most everything in this area is a level 2 or 3. And so we'll work our way through that process. As Chip had mentioned, if you've been up there and taken a look at the tennis courts, they have everything pretty much leveled, and I think they're fairly close to starting to lay the blacktop once all the piping and everything is in the ground. Been a couple little bumps there along the way with the impervious surface and water runoff and that type of stuff. So we're working our way through it, and the weather has been just tremendous recently. It was so wet this spring, which caused delays on other places, which caused them to get here late, but they say they can still be done on time, which is fantastic. I did go to the Minnesota Department of Education Back to School Conference, the Superintendent's Conference, and the main speaker there was First Lady of Minnesota, Gwen Walls. She was very interesting to listen to, 29-year teacher, I believe, in Mankato, and have done a number of leadership positions within the education field as well as the teaching. So it was kind of like being back in school when she was standing up there for an hour and a half and giving her presentation. I believe she was an English teacher, so listening to was about like being back in high school, listening to my high school English teacher is what it was. But very interesting, and what I really, really liked about the conference and about her is her own philosophy about service leadership, which does match with my own philosophy very similarly. And so in schools, who do you serve? What's in the best interest of students? That's what we ask at every board meeting when we're making decisions. And she took it one step further. I didn't know that she had been so involved in prison education. And so she asked the question, who do you serve in the prison system? And, I'm thinking that prisons are here to serve the general public, and that's not what prisons are there to serve. Prisons are there to serve the inmates. They're there to rehabilitate and educate the inmates so that they can become productive members of society. So again, asking those questions and putting things in perspective really does help. And of course, with her education background, she had a lot of statistics that match up with if we put more money into schools, how much money we could save in the prison systems, which would be much better for everybody. So that was a very interesting presentation, as well as the entire conference was based around that. So thank you for the opportunity to attend that. It was also an opportunity to catch up with a number of superintendents and some new ones, meet some new ones that are just coming into the field. So that was a lot of fun as well. We have had our first negotiations meeting with admin. We've actually met twice in negotiations, and we have a third meeting scheduled for September. And then, as Bob had mentioned, he and I are both serving on the negotiations with the Rum River teachers, academic and behavior managers, as well as the administrative assistants. And we have TA with the administrative assistants and the behavior managers, and we have another meeting scheduled with the teachers there as well. Referendum communications continues to take a lot of time. We have a lot of things that have been put together. The website, the microsite, Mustangs United, is up and running. We also, based on similar information, we have a number of flyers that we put together, as well as some fact books, as well as some talking points for board members. And so we'll be coming out with all of that stuff next week as our staff comes back to school. Any questions?
I have one with regard to your last item. There have been a number of questions, really good questions, on Facebook especially, about things to do with the project. And how feasible is it to sometime soon come up with a list of costs associated or attached to our plan versus the costs that would have come under the lesser number that's being thrown around out there that is supposedly adequate?
Comparison of?
Like the, renovating for $8
Repair,
million.
renovate?
That has been asked. Can we show that
Well,
side by side?
Have you seen the plan?
No, so,
I haven't,
so
I
it
don't
should
know
be
where that would come
fairly
from.
easy to do, but it's probably going to be difficult. Like you said with your comparison in insurance, we know that it isn't apples to apples, but is there some way we can show the general public so that they'll be able to have a...
Is there a number that was thrown out?
Well, I've heard less than 6 million, and I've heard an 8 million, so I don't know, but either one is significantly less than what's realistic.
Right.
If truth be
I mean,
told.
we were talking 40-some million in renovations.
But when people see a number like that, they're going to know then, well, what's wrong with that if it can be renovated for that? And to show that reality is this, it's not.
Well, I think all we could show, in my mind anyways, is the 43 million or whatever the number was, plus the extra 5 million to take care of the streets and whatever,
And we'd still be left-
versus these numbers,
Well, then how can we answer the question then about,
So we can deal with
could
this
we
at
see
that.
a list? Where can they go to? Where should we direct people that are wondering what a renovation for not more or less than 6 million, I don't know, I'm just trying to quote what
Those
somebody has
numbers we
said.
can't
but-
deal with. We gotta deal with the numbers we got.
Number
Well,
one,
I understand
I
that.
didn't know it was on the list.
No.
Number two, I guess I would question the validity of
Well,
the numbers,
but-
of which, we could take the list and then compare with our numbers, which are fact, which are numbers that have been put forward by licensed individuals. The only thing that I've seen or heard is the same thing that you heard when, I believe there was Bob, somebody or another was here and said that he was representing the majority task force and it could be fixed for, and I don't remember what he said, but.
I just wondered if talking to Arif or somebody that was at task force meetings and part of that discussion, could they show us a list?
Shared that information with the
No.
task force even, so.
So then how do we address the question? Because these are people that are just asking a question, trying to learn, trying to get informed.
It's an interesting question considering
Mhm.
it's not based on any reality.
But they don't know that.
Well, it's.
So, you know,
Yeah.
perception is reality, and you
Yeah.
know what's out there getting twisted and spun.
And a $6 or $8 million thing is being twisted and spun? Is that, I don't know.
It's been thrown out there as, well, it was in a letter a couple weeks ago, so people are reading that.
If there was such a thing, we would have
If
already,
it's all
if
too
it was
good to
only
be
6 to
true,
8
it
million,
probably
we
is,
would
but-
have fixed it and done it.
Right.
Because that was well within our reason. But again, anybody can pull a number out of a hat and say, oh, this will fix it, and don't have to verify, don't have to establish a factual basis on anything. Every number that we
Yeah.
have.
See, we get it.
Yeah.
But the
And maybe it
people
can be
that are-
just that simple of, okay, we're hearing this number, we don't know what it's based
Yeah.
on, there's no line items
Mhm.
with actual bids coming back for any of these line items. So that's as best as we can we can address it, is there's a number thrown out that.
Could that
doesn't
come
match.
under familiarly asked question on the website?
An FAQ?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that could be, and again, we address it just like that, of, this is, they're made up numbers by a subgroup of something, we don't even, they've never been delineated as to who or what this even involved. What could it be? Yeah, we could easily spend 6 million or 8 million, there's still another 40 million then to
Never even
spend.
see it.
Yeah,
You'd never-
yeah, you wouldn't,
I think one of the issues that would come up is something similar to what we saw previously with a group that attempted to say, yes, you need to fix the windows, but it's only going to cost you $250,000. Because we brought up a specialist up from Cambridge who said that he took a look and he said, yep, you can fix these windows for $250,000. And then when asked, what kind of windows are those? Are those dual pane? Are they aluminum clad? Are they argon filled? What kind of windows are they? Well, I don't know, but he said, the guy from the glass company said you could do it for $250,000. We need some type of quality specs. We would need something to run any type of comparison like that. And if that was brought forward, or if I had something to base it on, we could do a comparison to what the actual costs would be. And again, some of that stuff is coming from people that do residential construction and commercial construction costs considerably more. I think one of the issues with the windows is, these windows don't look too bad, but you look down the side of the building over there, and there's significant deterioration to the bricks in the mortar, which then leakage, and then once you start to take those windows out and you tear into them, it's just like any other project, so it would have to be something that would have built-in factors for that also. But I think I understand what you're talking about, is it would be nice to be able to show
Literally side
that
by
that
side.
list is inadequate,
Fictitious.
that it is not presented by licensed individuals.
Yeah, because the question was in the right spirit. They just want to know.
Absolutely.
And, then occasionally somebody will take a stab at a question that's asked, and people are doing the best they can to answer accurately, but their frame of reference is, it depends on, where they're coming from, so.
Yeah, and see, when that
it's
number's thrown
such-
out, I haven't seen even the people throwing that number out, put out a list of what's on, what that
No,
is consistent.
but I didn't know if it was something that ever was discussed at the task force meetings that caused them to come with that kind of a figure, but again, I think the question deserves to be answered or addressed somehow. Either you can answer it, or this is why we can't answer it.
Yeah, I will see what I can do with that.
One other question I have about that is, are we going to be, in the past, with referendums, we have actually had a phone number and a link with the tax bases. There's one classification on there, on the actual website, or there's one classification that is not included on the actual website. And I cannot remember off the top of my
Is it
head.
the seasonal and?
What it is, and we used to have a phone number that you could call, or a,
We should have that in the next couple of weeks.
Perfect.
Which will be the one where you actually take your property ID and put it in there, and you will be able to get your actual tax impact for that particular property.
wonderful. That was a big question that I have been asked in person and also on social media and through phone calls. So I'm excited to hear that that will be getting up there.
Yep, I will get on them about the tax calculator.
Is that the Eller said?
Tyler's,
Yep,
yep.
yep.
That's
Because I remember her saying she's gonna be able to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And then is there a contact to address the questions some have had regarding will there be forums or opportunities for public meetings? And I guess I would think that'd be encompassing everything from a publicized public forum to a group that would like to have us come and meet. And
Well, and that's up to the school board.
Yeah,
If you'd like to have public forums, we'll set them up. I do have a list. Scott has agreed to, and we have a letter put together to send out to all the townships.
Okay, that was
that
another.
They would like him to come out.
Okay.
Brent and I will have another letter that's put together. We'll be sending that out in the next, it should be going out next week.
Okay.
That will, all the various groups. I've already contacted a couple. I have one set up for September 23rd. I can't remember
Okay.
what date I told you. So there have been some groups that have called and said, we'd like you to come. So we already have set some of those up.
It's another question that's been asked on social media, and that might be sufficient rather than us scheduling one or two or three other public forums, which we know are historically poorly attended. This might be the better way to reach everybody that wants to come to a meeting.
I think I'd seen something that Brent had done something in 2017 that was put out that answered a number of those questions as well, and that's available. So what's kind of surprising to me is even as much as we put out there, call the district office, call the district office, call the district office. We've had 2 calls. That one person called and requested a vote yes sign, and we directed them to the vote yes group. The other person that called was just asking for verification of information, and I talked on the phone with him for probably 45 minutes, I suppose. Other than that, I've had 2 calls in the district office. If people would like tours, all they need to do is call the district office, 679-6200, and Chip and myself and Brent would be more than happy to arrange that for either small groups or, you know, we probably don't want to take one person around and then an hour later take one more person, then we can schedule a couple of times a week or something along those lines. We'd be happy to do that.
Public forum, meaning just the tour.
Tammy, I think the one that you were asking about was residential, non-homestead.
Is that what it was? Yeah, okay. I tried to look really quick, but.
That would cover both your seasonal rec and your
That was one of the-
rental properties is the other one that
I
I've
saw
seen
the
brought
same
up.
question asked, and somebody said, well, that would probably be your seasonal rec.
Okay.
But again, if it's gonna be updated and we'll show the residential
there's-
non-homestead.
I did hear, wasn't asked directly, but I did hear that there were people asking about rental property. I don't know if that's what the non-residential homestead is or whatever, but, you know, again, when this tax calculator is done and it's up, it will be take your tax statement and take your tax ID number on that website and type it in there, and you'll get exactly what the projected tax is.
Well, let me know.
The sooner the better.
Let me know if you need help visiting townships or groups or whatnot. I am all aboard and I am ready to get factual information out to our voters.
I think we all are.
Yeah, exactly, we all are. It's time.
We are ready.
Okay. Thanks, Craig. Brings us to dates. Quite a few upcoming dates to remember. Correspondence has gone around. Is there any other board business?
I was going to say one thing that I forgot to say during reports and that too. As a member of the Paradise Board, wanted to encourage everybody to look by the Paradise Theater after Labor Day. We have a brand new mural going up. We've repainted the entire building this year. We're just finishing up on the north side. There'll be a full brand new mural with also stop and photo, spot there as well. And we're also redoing that entire parking lot so you don't bottom out, in your car. And so, yeah, and it's some, we've been working very hard with, that committee, again, as a nonprofit community theater. It's so good to see it, and the people that we have from our community and surrounding communities coming in, and we're able to now, we've been in the black and been able to make some of these improvements is so wonderful. But after Labor Day, again, we left a 3-day window in there to get that up, and then the technical unveiling will be that Saturday, the 5th or 6th, whatever. But obviously, we're not going to have it covered up from there, but just to watch for that, it'll be really something. It's being made up in Duluth, and then it's basically being applied down here. So it's actually technically not even paint, it's in applique. So it'll be a lot of fun. So.
Exciting. All right, thank you. Any other board business? If not, second open forum.
Can I address the board?
You sure may.
I didn't fill anything out. There was nothing supposed to.
That's quite all right.
Jesse Dowdy, just a guy in the community. I just want to say thank you for your transparency online. I think that's fantastic. It's been really good. The second thing is thank you for your tone and in the conversation on the digital age. It can be very difficult when things are ramped up and you're ramped up. Thank you for very clear, concise information. I think that's speaking very loudly. You may not feel like it because you're getting bombarded, but I think it's speaking very loudly. How you say it is sometimes more important than what you say. So thank you for saying it so clearly and calmly and pointing in the right direction. So
And anytime you have any reaction or feedback to anything that is said, appreciate if you would.
For your wide open suggestions.
Contact, yeah. Because the more sets of eyes or the more people that are seeing it and internalizing or processing it, the better.
Yeah,
Because
no.
sometimes it is hard to know what to say. As board members, you walk a fine line. We know we're all about pushing out facts, but it needs to be received as such.
And I
And
think with the secondary form of conversation where, okay, we're going to only talk about facts, we're going to make sure that that's the tone of the whole thing. I think that's been a huge benefit. It's been taking out a lot of the emotion. It's been looking at the reality. So, and the whole idea of Mustang United, I think that's fantastic. So, thank you for doing that good work.
Sure.
appreciate it. Thanks. Anybody else? If not, move for adjournment.
So, second.
Okay, Bob and Bob. Bob Jensen, second by Bob Woods.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Or Scott.